Chicagoland Speedway, Joliet, Illinois, race number 18 for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. The cars have fired and begin to roll off pit road, ready for 400 miles this afternoon. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Nextel Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Jimmie Johnson for this weekend's race and the latest Budweiser shootout-eligible driver, his first pole of 2005. Take a look at the starting grid. It's Jimmie Johnson up front, alongside Ryan Newman, who was a rocket yesterday.
Off to Ryan Newman off the pole. You don't see that too often.
Yep.
Casey Mears, good starting position. Matt Kenseth's car's been pretty strong.
That's the guy they're talking about to look for to win, Matt Kenseth.
Brian Vickers and Greg Biffle was fast in the first practice, but struggled a little bit Saturday morning.
See Scott Riggs and Dale Jarrett, and boy, DJ and those guys made wholesale changes today to their car, trying to get it better.
Good run for Dave Blaney. Kevin Harvick, he knows how to get around this racetrack.
Looking for the weekend sweep, you're right. In row 6, Robby Gordon with a good qualifying effort. Same for Mike Bliss.
And Robby Gordon, I tell you, those guys are getting better each week.
Tony Stewart will have to drop to the rear of the field after J.J. Yaley qualified that car.
Nemechek, a happy guy.
Yes, very happy.
Re-signed up with that team, as well as U.S. Army. Got his Quapple. The outside.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. was really good in that second practice yesterday. Maybe he's got something going. In Casey Kane, we know he runs well at this racetrack.
Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, teammates in row 10.
Mark off the disappointing finish a week ago.
There's Happy, Carl Edwards, Jeremy Mayfield back in row 11.
Elliott Sadler, we're going to talk to him in a second. Kyle Busch.
Another
car, yeah.
Another car they talked was really fast, Kyle Busch.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back in row 13, along with former series champion Bobby Labonte.
Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. teammates, and they're starting to share more information, and Jr. feels like it's going to help his car get much better.
Kyle Petty and Scott Wimmer, row 15. Both those guys looking for a good run.
Boy, Wimmer needs some good luck, doesn't he?
Yep, sure does.
David Stremme making his Nextel Cup Series debut today.
About 90 miles from his hometown of South Bend, Indiana. Stuart Kirby out of Bowling Green, Kentucky.
A couple of the veterans.
Yep.
Rusty Walsh, Trey Labonte. They got their work cut out for them. So these two.
Yeah.
Jamie McMurray, next season, still where he's at. Then a year from now at Roush. Carl Long, Sterling Marlin back in row 19, and in row 20, Kevin LePage and Jeff Green. Row 21, Ken Schrader, career start number 650 for Schrader today, alongside of Mike Wallace.
We had a great run in Daytona last week, and Jason Leffler, 43rd. And this is a list you don't want to see. B.J. Jones, Mike Gardner, Wayne Anderson, and Kenny Wallace did not qualify.
Mike Wallace and Tony Stewart to the back. Wally.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Elliott. Elliott, this Wally up in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Well, you guys have been struggling a little bit this weekend. What do you think about your car?
Yeah, we made a lot of changes to it this morning. We think we found out what was going on. We had a spring kind of rubbing against the bucket a little bit. So Todd and the guys made some good adjustments and kind of put the car back kind of like we had it here last year. And this car's been good to us, so we'll see, Wally, what we got. I learned a lot during the Busch race yesterday. We had 2 good grooves of racing. We'll see what the combo sport's got.
You guys, obviously there's a lot of guys in the field right now that are having some tire issues. Has your team seen any of that?
No, we've been okay so far, Wally. The guys do a good job with the shocks as far as taking care of the tires, and I'll try to do my job in the car. NASCAR's talking about throwing a yellow around lap 25 just to make sure nobody's seen any problems today. At least till we get some good rubber down, get it nice and slick, we're to take care of the tires a little more.
All right, man, we'll be watching. Good luck.
All right, you guys have fun in the air conditioning up there.
Okay.
We definitely will.
Final stories from pit road. Dave.
It has been 50 races since Matt Kenseth last won a race. That's a long drought for our 2003 Nextel Cup champion. But you know, last week in the rain delay, Matt told me that his cars were improving, and I guess so. He qualified extremely well, 4th on Friday, and he was a top 10 car in final practice. Factor in Matt Kenseth today. Marty?
Dave, win or lose today caps a very good week for Joe Nemechek. On Wednesday, he signed a 2-year contract extension with his race team, the number 01 team with the U.S. Army, also signing on board. The negotiations took 10 minutes. He went in. Jay Fry said, here's the contract. That's the general manager. He said, looks good to me. Signed it. He also won the race at Kansas last year. Joe, very confident heading into this race. Matt?
Throwback colors today for Rusty Wallace, who tries to continue his strong push in the points. The past 7 races, he's climbed up to 5th. Now, he's one of the sentimental favorites for the championship. If he can do it this year in his final season at Nextel Cup, he'll set a record, the oldest champion in series history. That would beat his hero, Bobby Allison. The car looks strong, although he starts 33rd. Alan?
Kurt Busch, the defending series champion, starts 19th. They were not very happy with their car in yesterday's practice, and on fast racetracks like this, on a couple of occasions this year, Kurt has spun out early in the race. So the 2 keys for Kurt Busch's day today, number 1, don't spin out, and number 2, did they make the right adjustments this morning and throughout today's race to finish first?
Thanks, Alan. We're about to find out. 43 cars, 400 miles at Chicagoland. The green flag is out on NBC. Bonus points for Jimmy Johnson, holding off Ryan Newman on lap 1.
Whoa, look at that car bottom out. Jimmy Johnson, see those sparks underneath the car? He was one of the guys talking yesterday about dragging the oil pan, PP.
3 wide behind them. That's Ryan Newman in the 12 and second. Kenseth on the move.
Going by Casey Mears in 41 at Kenseth in 17. And Biffle in 16 goes up the hill, opening the door for the 17. And here's a battle for the lead is Ryan Newman. The 12 car takes the lead.
And 5 bonus points for Newman.
Those pressures, tire pressures may be a little bit low in that 48 car right now. If that car's bottoming out, it's upsetting the car when he gets into the corner. So Jimmy Johnson may just be chilling out here for a lap or 2 to get those tire pressures up.
That's Brian Vickers in the 25 inside of Biffle. Newman had an outstanding car in the Busch race yesterday. There was some concern in the garage by the competitors that if he got out front today, it could be a replay. He could be very strong.
Biffle hanging up. He's hanging on the outside pretty good. Marty.
Wally, before the race started, something happened to the thermostat that regulates the oil temperature in the 16 car of Greg Biffle. When Biffle got in the car, started on his pace laps, the oil temperature was pegged. There is a little bit of concern in the 16 pit. I just talked to Doug Richard, the crew chief. He said it should not be an issue for the race, but they are slightly concerned about it in these early laps.
Marty, if you remember at Dover a couple of years ago, Mark Martin, a teammate to Greg Biffle, in line for qualifying, his oil caught on fire. He got so hot.
Not good.
Keep an eye on that. Hopefully it's a bad gauge.
Yeah. That's what you're hoping sitting in the seat,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Are you tapping it?
You do tap it if you can reach it.
Tell you what, Tony Stewart started last, but he's working his way. He's up to 35th already. Matt, has he said anything yet?
BP, the radio's quiet. Now, Greg Zipadelli told me this morning the goal is just a top 10 day. Try to get this car to the top 10 by the final segment, meaning the final 50 or 60 laps. But he stressed to Tony last night and this morning, pace yourself. Don't overdo it trying to race the front. Let's not make this a bad day. Let's make this a big picture good day.
The car looks pretty good, Matt. Working the traffic right now, and that's one thing that's hard around this racetrack is once you're in traffic, normally your car doesn't work very well, but Tony Stewart seems like he can go where he wants.
Inside of Sterling Marlin in the 40.
That's where he wants to go right now, huh? And he did it. But here comes Sterling back, getting that run on the outside, and not so fast, Tony. Look at that, 198 miles per hour as you go down in turn 1 on the inside of Sterling Marlin.
This track is fast. Then mile and a half, 188 and change for the pole.
Drivers were telling us, Bill, about, remember, having to put padding in the right side of the seat because it's so hard on their rib cage, so fast and so much G-force down in the corners.
Rusty Wallace in the throwback paint scheme we talked about in the Bank of America countdown to green. Side by side with Stewart. Again, Tony was involved in a wreck here on Friday, did go to the hospital, got checked out, got cleared.
Ooh, bounced there in the 20 car.
Boy, he keeps that 20 car right down on the apron, doesn't he?
Yeah, the car was right. Yeah, I talked to Rob and Pemberton a little bit, and what they did, you know, the doctors, where they took him to check him out, then the track doctors, you know, base that information and clear him, so he's good to go. He's got a clean bill of health.
Robert Pemberton, one of the NASCAR officials overseeing the race, administrators.
Oh, man.
The car's working good. I mean, it really is.
Looks like Rusty's trying to lock onto his bumper. Gordon on the outside in the 24, on board now with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
For the 18th spot. Dave, what's Jeff Gordon said anything about his car yet?
He has not, and that's a surprise. He's gone backwards. He started 14th, and he's lost a bunch of positions. As now Junior looks to the inside going into turn 1, he's been silent on the radio. Just check with the crew. Alan?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his team were very confident this morning. They had a great finish at Daytona last week, but of course that was a restrictor plate race. It doesn't apply here at Chicagoland. Crew Chief Steve Meal told me this morning they've been making strides on their car's progress. They'll be good this week. They'll be even better next week at New Hampshire, and still hopeful of making that chase for the Nextel Cup.
The 24 bunch may have some work to do today, because that car is going the wrong way.
Yeah, but we've seen that before. They can get it turned around.
These are the tracks a number of teams have struggled on. There's for the lead.
I think his tire pressures came up.
You think so?
And he feels better, because I could tell at first lap that car was a handful when he hit the racetrack. Dave?
Are you talking about the 48,
yes,
Wally?
Yeah.
In fact, on lap 4, Jimmy radioed to Chad Knaus, his crew chief, it's still dragging. And Chad said, yeah, I saw. So they're watching that, monitoring it very carefully. Meanwhile, his teammate, Jeff Gordon, he just radioed his crew finally, said very loose in. Now, I talked to Robbie Loomis, his crew chief, this morning, and he said we were taking the car a bit toward the loose side. That means the rear end wants to come around a little bit more. The car needed that, and it looks like they might have taken it a bit too far, at least for the start of this race.
Yeah, this is a tough racetrack to be loose going into the corner, because you're carrying so much speed. You're almost 200 miles per hour going down into these corners. And boy, you don't want too much of a loose race car when you turn that wheel down into turn 1 or turn 3.
Johnson continues to lead. We saw Matt Kenseth make the move into second around Newman. This is the battle for fourth. Casey Mears in the 41, trying to pass Biffle in the 16.
Actually, I think it's the other way around.
You think so?
You big dummy. You remember Biffle had fallen back. Come on, Bill. Wake up.
There's a guy that's fast, 17 of Kenseth. Another guy on the move is Carl Edwards, too.
Whoa.
Travis Quapple
there.
onto the apron.
And one of his owners celebrating his 50th birthday today. Not happy birthday.
Looks like he's got engine problems by the black smoke coming out of the pipes. Matt, what are they saying?
He keyed the mic and told Shane Wilson, the crew chief, he thinks he has something amiss with the motor. Maybe he's lost his cylinder.
That's tough. Early in the race, Jimmy Johnson continues to lead over Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, and Casey Mears. NASCAR looking at a mandatory caution at lap 25 when we continue from Chicagoland.